All right, we are live.
We are live. Thank you all for joining in today. We are excited to get into this really practical and useful content today. Please come on into the chat, which is in the bottom center of the screen. Is that the lines in it? And that's where y'all will be able to at and share your insights and questions for Essie.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Esty Moneus, and I'm the founder of Automatrix LLC. And we help businesses streamline their operation by mapping the process, optimizing it, and automating it. So today we are here doing this logo series, focusing on how to automate client onboarding using two tools mainly, Monday and Make, but with other tool that we will see once we start building the workflow. All right, so for today, I'm going to introduce myself, and then we will talk about why do we need to automate uh, onboarding as part of your business. We will also go over the workflow tools that we need and the connection that needs to be made in the backend. And then we will dive even deeper into the automation steps. And then I will show you a live demo of what we have built. And we'll talk about why we love Novo, why we are here. Then we will take some questions, we'll share our contact with you, we'll share upcoming workshop, and we have a surprise at the end for you. So before we begin, make sure to stay on mute and use reaction. Grab your coffee or your tea and just interact. Ask your question in the chat. All right. So a little bit about me. My name is Esty. I have 12 years of experience with product management and process improvement. I'm actually an accidental entrepreneur. This wasn't planned at all. I was laid off right after I had my second child, and caring for a newborn and another toddler, looking for a job was really hard. So I started automating little tasks like sending thank you notes. Very small automation, like 3 days after or a day after the interview, send a thank you note or follow up, things like that until it clicked that it was actually something that someone would be willing to pay for. And that is why I am here today. Outside of work, I love baking, I love reading, I love karaoke, and I love dessert. Anything that has chocolate and mango, I'm sold. Um, a little bit about Automatrix. So what we love is like I said, mapping processes, optimizing them, and setting up automation. And we serve all industry. We are very small and very new, so we haven't really niched down yet. So we help everybody. Our step involve getting on the discovering call and surveying all the teams depending on the size and bringing that information together, put together a professional map, and then identify key area where automation can be useful. And we love to automate. We love new tools on the market. We are always looking for what's new. We are always curious. And right now, because of my background in project management, we specialize in PM's tool like Monday, ClickUp, and Asana that you probably heard about. And we power those using Make or Zapier, which you probably heard about as well. So let's talk about why we need to automate onboarding. So if I can give you an example, one of my clients, they are in the Google and Facebook ad. So every time they get a new client, they have about 42 to 48 steps uh, of tasks for that client to be set for success. I do have another client in insurance. She has 62 steps. And among those steps, she has also collection of data, um, which are critical information. and as well as documentation that she has to gather to set her client for success. So for that, if you have a system that is set and that is repeatable, then it is best to automate so that you repeat the same quality for each client, and you don't end up doing the same task over and over, because you have already done the hard work. You have converted a client, you have gained their trust. So now it is exciting. It's time to get to work. So let's make work fun and enjoyable. So we also do this to remove error, to avoid missteps, and always look professional and ready for your clients, so you can even nurture more that relationship. And finally, it's also a way to free up founders so they can think about the next step in scaling their business. So for today, for what we are building, this is a short at a glance. So we are starting with Monday. We have a board set up in Monday. So for a change in status, we want a trigger to be sent to Make. And then Make is helping us make the connection between Google Drive, Gmail, Calendly, and JotForm. So in the Google Drive, we'll be creating a folder for each client. With Gmail, we'll be sending them a welcome email, and with Calendly, we're sending them a link to book their kickoff meeting. And with JotForm, we are collecting those critical information that we have to safeguard, which our client trusts us with. So this is the first step of the automation, and this is one of the most critical part of this automation. It is the webhook. So if I had to explain a webhook to someone not technical, I would say that the webhook is like when you go to a restaurant and you place an order, and then they ring a bell to let you know that it's ready. So for the change in monthly happening, we are using the webhook to ring a bell in Make to say, okay, let's go. So for that, we set up a custom webhook, and then we are waiting for a response. So Monday send a challenge to make sure, hey, can I trust you? And then Make send back a response to the challenge and say, yes, the signal has landed in the right place. So that is what we are doing here. And then once we get that signal landed into Make, it's bringing in all the information that you have on the mounted board, and it's a little bit scattered all over the place. So we want it to be in a JSON format where we can get all those nested information and be able to reuse them in our scenario. So here we are adding another module. So now that our data is structured, we are using the data to find the actual item that sent that signal back in Monday. And then with that signal, we are retrieving the client name. And then we are using Google Drive to create a folder for that client. And then we're labeling the folder with their name. Now, right after this folder is created, we want to insert a delay. This is because our next step is using the link from this Google Drive, which we are going to deliver to each client. So we want to make sure that we give the system enough time to create this folder before we head to the next step. And now that the delay time, this can be 2 minutes, 3 minutes, or even a minute, depending on how fast that module works. We're sending out the Gmail module. So in this module, we are taking the name of the client. We are formatting it, so we are only extracting the first name. So that's how you have those hello Essie, hello Stephanie. That's how we set up that automation. And we are also grabbing the actual email that this is going to. And finally, in the content section, you can have your HTML formatted email. So you can make it to match your brand as you desire. All right. So after the email is sent, we want to let Monday know that the work is done and that this client is now in the pipeline for the onboarding. So we are retrieving again that exact item that sent the signal, and now we are updating its status to in progress. All right. And this is what the final scenario should look like. So we have our webhook set up and then the webhook response. We have our JSON module, which structure the data. We have the first Monday module, which finds the actual item so we don't update something else. We have the Google Drive, which creates a folder with the client name. We insert a delay between the Google Drive and the Gmail to ensure that we get that link in time. And in that Gmail, I actually forgot to mention, in that Gmail is where we have inserted the Calendly link, which I'll show you in the lab demo in a moment. We have the Calendly link, and then we are also sending them, like I said, the Google Drive so they can click on it and head to their own folder. And finally, we have also inserted a link for them to uh, get into the JotForm where they can provide sensitive information, maybe like their login to the software. For our company, sometimes they provide us with their username, their password, so we can log in as them, uh, depending on what we're doing. And then finally, we have Monday where we are updating that item that is say, okay, all these steps that we have listed is now done. All right. So now that we have covered all the steps, I would like to show you a lab demo of what it looks like when you actually use it. So let me get that down. All right. So I need everyone help. If you can see the Monday board, please let me know. Because in my screen, it is showing. So right now you should be looking at my Monday board. All right. Thank you, Stephanie. Okay, so right now in the Monday board, this is only part of the system. So for this specific one, since it is small and just for demo, we are using a form. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter the name of the company, and my company name is Automatrix. And then the POC is personal point of contact. So I put my name, and then I put my email. And then we can skip the phone number and the file. But in real life, client use this to upload their client information. All right, so this is me. And right now, right after this was created, the status changed to hot and ready. So the team know that there is work to be done, and there are some tasks that have been scheduled, like create folder, send welcome email, collect system credential, and schedule the kickoff meeting. All right. And I also show you some of the automations that power this board. So we have reminders. So 3 days after this is submitted, if the status of the task remain working on it, then the account manager will be notified, and this lead will be moved to onboarding pause. When the status change to stop, then eventually they'll be moved to pause. And we have the automation of the task creation, and when they are done they move to onboarding completed. So this system makes it very easy to send out all the information. So as of right now, the automation that I just sent went out at 6:13, and so we should head back to the board to see how it was processed. All right. So as you can see, Automatrix moved from onboarding ready to onboarding in progress. and that's because of the automation that we have just built. So what happened is a folder was created. One moment as I share the folder with you. All right. Okay. So here we have the welcome email that was sent via the automation. And then here they have a link to schedule their Calendly kickoff meeting. They have a link to their drive. And then they have the link to the JotForm to provide more information. So yeah, so that's how it works. So I'm gonna head back to our presentation. Okay, so now let's talk about why we love Novo. So when I was starting out, just because I'm so new to entrepreneurship, I tried different services out there for small businesses, and I just couldn't find anything that works for me until one day out of my I think I Google like an online banking or business checking account, and I found Novo, and I've been using it since. And I've been in business for 13 to 15 months now, and I've only been using Novo. The reason why I like it is that there is no standing in line. The customer service is always perfect, and I can manage my client invoicing right from my phone. Um, I move a lot, so it is really like is really it follows you wherever you are. Is pretty neat. But what I love the most about it is the integration, because after all we are an automation agency. So I love when my tool talks to each other. So I love that about Novo. We have it connected to our Stripe. We have it built to through Zapier to other software as well. And I also love that I can customize each one of our invoices and make it look like automatrix every time it's going out. And I love having perks for every software that is provided in the account setting on my dashboard. I love having discount. So little perks like that are great savings for small business owner like myself. All right. So I'll take any questions that anyone has at this moment.
There we go. Thank you so much, Essie. So in this, like, I wanted to just check in and see, like, how long have you partnered with Monday and make, and if you can just remind us again, Novo as well.
Yeah. So I've been working with Monday for I'll say over 5 years, because when I was still in corporate, I was still using it as an employee. Um, and we recently became partners of Mondays, just increase our expertise. I've been using Make for over 5 years as well. Because I have a background, I also have a background in software engineering before pivoting into PM. And for Novo, I've been using Novo for I'll say 15 months. So for as long as the business has existed, I've been using Novo. Because it was my checklist when I was looking for things that I would need, and I couldn't find anything until I stumbled upon it, and it has been a lifesaver, and I've been using only that since.
Well, good. Okay. And so I just have a few questions then. Excuse my background noise. But with this thorough process you just showed us, or it's really simple, but like you thoroughly laid it out, I'm curious, what were the biggest bottlenecks in your onboarding process before automation? And how did you prioritize like what to automate first?
Yeah. Um, when I first got started, one of the issue that I will have will be credentials. So, like I mentioned, I'm a mom. So at the beginning, I only work at night. So I will have issues where I will have to log in, but my client probably uh wasn't awake to get me those information. So I realized that I had to streamline and have make a list of everything that I will need, especially when it comes to credential to do my integration at the beginning. And another key aspect was to set up the milestone to have like a clear expectation of what was going to be done and when. So that's also why I just happened to set up the kickoff call higher at the beginning. And for our own automation here, we also have other automation that send the client reminders. So we for some people we have 2 weeks check-in. For other people we have weekly check-in. So they get reminders for that as well. And our report are also automated. We literally live what we are offering to other people, and that's how we are learning and getting better at it, because we don't just say it, we're actually doing it on a daily basis. Mhm.
Brilliant. That is so important. And like that is a feedback loop is a wish. Um, right? Like it's not
Yeah,
so on that note, how do you maintain a personal touch while automating onboarding?
yeah, that is a question that I get all the time. So that personal touch comes from those check-in that we are having. So obviously when we're doing those check-in, we're building the relationship. So things that are like system automated are more like report that are like standardized, but the thing that I'll say probably sending a gift basket to our client. One of my client, she was expecting when we started working, and then she had her baby. So being part of those moments and say, "Hey, I'm thinking about you, and by the way, I got your back. Everything is running smoothly." So that is the personal touch. So I think for me, the automation is just freeing me so I can do all that for all of my clients, because I'm really good at remembering birthdays. I'm really good at remembering things in my personal life and professional life. Um, so I think automation just free me to do those extra things that I enjoy doing. Yeah.
I love that. That it actually it's not at all the opposite. It actually like makes it that much easier to be present and to the relationships. It's brilliant. Hey. Um, and then I wanted to ask, how do you recommend, or how do you, in your experience, as you said, y'all are practicing what you preach. You're well versed in what you're operating for your clients. So how do you segment or personalize your onboarding for different client types?
Oh, yeah. So that will come. So if we take two businesses in the same industry, they probably have the same workflow in general, which we have learned working with some of them in the same industry. But there is also the human aspect where someone prefer doing something a certain way. So when we initially take on a new project, we have an idea of what they might need, but where we actually learn what they need and want, what fit their need, is through the mapping process. So we really take our time during the mapping process to really understand not only what they do, but how they have come to do it that way. So we ask, okay, so why do you send this form first? Why do you need to? So we try to understand. So once we understand their why, then we can give them the tool for the how. So yeah. Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay. That makes perfect sense. And do you have any advice for anyone who's like bringing, like, when people are bringing on a new process, such as onboarding? What are some of the, pieces of advice? You did touch on them early, of course, as to, what some of the benefits are, but what are some of the conversations that you find yourself having with clients as you're easing them into the idea or addressing their concerns?
Yeah, documenting the process. This is a big conversation. It sounds easy when you're hearing it. It's like, oh, document the process. You just say what you do. But when we start working with clients, they realize that they haven't actually documented most of it. Most of the client only document 20% of what they do. 80% is actually in their head, and it's just because they have been doing it so much that it becomes second nature. So when they're trying to share that knowledge with someone, it feels like, well, this is just how we do it, but in the actual action there's multiple steps. So we try to draw that out of them, get it out of them, so we can fully document the process and they can have like a full view of what they're actually doing, and potential for automation. Yeah.
I understand. Okay. And I'm wondering, are there uh, any exercises or tools for that process that you'd recommend? Like, say someone's preparing to do this process with Monday and Make. They're looking at their onboarding process, and as you said, they're looking at to document their process. Um, is that something that's, if you're a solopreneur, do you still do that by yourself, or like, do you want to kind of talk to some clients along the way? If you're in a larger company, um, who should be in the room for that, documenting your process?
Okay. Shadow. Let's take it for the solopreneur. So for the solopreneur, I can recommend a tool called Draw.io, and I'll share that later, or we can connect and talk about it. But it is a uh free source, open source software. That's what I meant to say. Open source software is free, so you can just use it online and you can just document all the steps. The moment you put the first step, by the time you get to the fourth step, I guarantee you you have an awakening and say, wait, I actually do this in between. And that's how it gets all started. So you want to get all those tasks that you do in between on there on your flow chart so you can visualize everything. So the Draw.io, it is a very, very simple tool. It is the simplest tool you can find out there for process mapping. It is very easy to use. You can just drag and drop and put your arrows and all your shape and change colors and everything. So that is what I recommend for people who are doing it for the first time. Um, and for larger companies, usually I learned this the hard way. At the beginning, I started a project and I only focused on the CEO. And he was just telling me everything that he wanted. And I never got a chance to actually interview the people actually doing the work. And when we finally implemented the solution, it made absolutely no sense to the workers. And I have no shame on sharing it. This was a learning lesson that made my company better. And ever since then, I focus and really take my time with the mapping process. And I just interview everybody. I have the stakeholders in the room, but when we are doing the mapping, my focus is on the person that is actually doing the job because they know what's happening best. So we focus on them, we interview them, we map it, we review it. We have a couple of iteration, and then we get a sign off on it. unless we get a sign off on it, we are not doing any work, because it costs companies more to undo what has been done and fixing things than doing it right the first time. So that is why my biggest priority is getting it right the first time. So we really, really, really take our time with the mapping process. So I interview everybody, bring all the information together, and really merge it and see where we have a common area. If we have different information about different steps, then I go back and ask more, excuse me, more question about that process and understanding. So yeah, that's how we do it.
I hear you. I hear you. Or like bringing folks the what see like yeah minutia. So it's not really like the back up the small process. Repress caster, what's created the foundation. That can always be tweaked, but you definitely want to have to undo. Yeah, thanks. And that's just so we can go ahead and emphasize the so try to make the next is going to be how to automate your project intake. So do you give us a little bit of a sneak peek as to like why you chose that and where that comes up for your clients, or how may tie into the onboarding process too? Sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So the project intake is so for example, I'll go back to my client, the one that has the Google ads. So obviously some company have multiple campaign. So once you have done a good job with the first project, so we're expecting our clients to come back and give us more work because that's how we're making income. So to make that easy for them, usually we create different channels depending on what this the company is, and it is for the client to just literally drop a new project, give you the requirement, set up their expectation, and just get their spot in the line to be served next, if that is the easier way to put it. Yeah, so it sounds it sounds pretty straightforward, but for these folks that are doing 42 or 62 steps for each client, they want an ability to get those new projects in easy way without having to sit in another meeting, because they obviously already understand the client system, they already understand the client business. So it is for them just more work to really schedule that. So yeah.
That makes perfect sense. Make it that much easier for them to book again, work again, get with their needs. Yeah, it's their needs communicated, and then that yeah, the relationship is flow, but also cash flow and like all that good stuff. And Ryan, thank you so much for tuning in. If you're tuning into recording, please be sure to still get in touch, get honest, Rich Nessie at Opera Streaks, and go ahead and all these read the caption for how you can access the cheat sheet and other resources that Essie has for you. You also sign up for Novo. I want to say thank you for tuning in to the education series.
Thank you so much. All right.